Welcome to this explainer. We're stepping straight into the shadows today to unpack a series of grim, gothic parables that honestly serve as a dark, theatrical mirror for our modern lives. We live in an era where we're constantly hustling, relentlessly trying to optimize our routines, treating ourselves like machines just waiting to be tuned up. But what's the actual cost of all that? What happens to human connection when our ultimate goal is to become these flawless, hyper-efficient, mechanical deities? Well, let's find out.
To set the stage for this graphic novel-style tragedy, check out this Marlowe's quote from the Faustian gear piece. "Was this the gear that launched 1,000 sparks and burnt the topless towers of reason's clock?" It perfectly introduces our profound, almost fatal obsession with technological automation. We're no longer launching ships, we are launching sparks in the relentless forge of our own minds, literally burning down the very foundations of reason in our quest to become unfeeling, perfect machines.
To really grasp this, we have to understand the setting here. We're exploring an allegorical world known as the Clockwork Empire. And in this quaint, transitory theater, anything mystical, unattainable, or deeply human is just brushed aside. Instead, anything that goes wrong is reduced to a mere mechanical error that some artisan just hasn't calibrated yet. It's a chillingly familiar mindset, isn't it? Treating every single human flaw as if it's just a bug in the code.
Act 1. The Modern Clockwork Empire.
Our tragic flaw here is defined by this fascinating concept, the dragging escapement. Now, in real watchmaking, an escapement is the literal heart of the timepiece. But here, it's dragging. It's a pulse that has entirely lost its sync. We've traded the beautiful, human chorus mysticus for the terrifying groaning seams of a purely mechanical existence. We're acting like desperate machines trying to build our own watchmaker, ticking our way straight toward a fatal heart attack, all in the name of productivity.
And this brilliantly exposes the central hubris of our modern age. On one side, we genuinely perceive ourselves as this mechanical god just basking in sovereign majesty and golden abundance. We think we're absolutely thriving. But the grim reality? That majesty is nothing but a hollow mask. We're actually paralyzed creatures, driven not by genuine ambition, but by this frantic, underlying fear of stopping.
Act 2. Chasing the absolute ice.
So, the alchemist in our fable takes 3 specific, horrifying steps, genuinely believing he's ascending to pure sovereignty. Step 1, he sheds what he calls the heavy pack of morality and human connection, basically viewing empathy as annoying friction. Step 2, he grinds his own iron heart to fuel his ambition. And finally, step 3, he seizes the cold pivot of his envisioned throne. He totally isolates himself, trading the warmth of human relationships for the ruthless, cold efficiency of a machine.
Which leads us to this concept of absolute ice. The alchemist believes he's reached divine stillness, right? A perfect, frictionless state of supreme control. But the truth is horrifying. He hasn't achieved divinity at all. He's become a pulse that has lost its sync. He is completely frozen in absolute ice. The machinery of his life is so rigid, so devoid of human warmth, that it has literally seized up. And the delusion is just absolute at this point. O Faustus brain, see where the dark fire climbs and grinds the iron heart within thy groaning seams. He thinks the friction of his isolated ascent is the dark fire of a god. He is totally blind to the agonizing destruction happening right inside him. Those gears are grinding his very own iron heart to dust, destroying his humanity to fuel a machine that's already freezing over. Act 3. Ignoring the groaning seams.
Now, in the text, there's this character called the honest guest who watches the deity from the sidelines and hears the actual truth. There are these terrifying early warning signs of a total breakdown, the screeching of groaning seams under way too much pressure, the lonely sound of an isolated mechanical heartbeat, and the grinding against a brass and wire Mephistopheles of the deity's own design. These are blaring alarms of impending failure, and the deity completely ignores them.
The contrast here between delusion and reality is absolutely wild. While the alchemist convinces himself that the horrifying screeching of his own breakdown is actually the divine music of the spheres, the honest guest knows exactly what it is: a fatal mechanical error and screeching friction. The alchemist thinks he's shattering the mirror of truth, but really, he's just breaking his own internal compass.
I really want you to think about this next quote. Everything transitory is but a gear. We do not ascend, we perform a rhythmic dance over the abyss. We convince ourselves that our endless hustling is elevating us, But this fable is a glaring warning. We're merely dancing over a terrifying void, treating everyone and everything as just another disposable gear. We're just praying our cold, isolated throne doesn't shatter before the final toll.
Act 4. The Horrified Awakening.
So the alchemist has labored in this transitory theater of his mind for so long. He's gathered his 1,000 sparks of ambition, completely alienated his peers, and built this rigid, frozen empire. But we have to ask the big question that hangs over every tragic fable. What is the inevitable end to this story? What actually happens when time runs out and the clock finally strikes 12?
The text reveal the one secret that could have saved him: one drop of oil. In the context of our Gothic fable, this oil represents the absolutely crucial element of human connection: empathy and grace. The texts make it super clear that all the supposed sovereign majesty of the mechanical god is fake. The only salvation from the absolute ice, the only thing that can lubricate those groaning seams, is this single, vital drop of human connection.
And this right here is the ultimate tragedy. The realization actually does come. The mechanical god finally understands that he needed that human connection to save his soul. But the horrified awakening arrives too late. The empathy he threw away as a heavy pack was the very thing he needed to keep the machine running. He realizes the truth right as the gears irreversibly seize.
Without that essential drop of human connection, the breakdown is complete. The clock strikes 12, and even gods must crack. The deity's iron heart, completely ground down by its own ruthless efficiency and isolated ambition, shatters. The mechanical god falls, proving that literally no amount of optimized, cold efficiency can ever substitute for our fundamental need for each other.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a provocative thought. Look closely at the way you are building your own life today. Are you truly ascending through genuine connection and purpose, or are you too ignoring the early warning signs, the groaning seams, performing a rhythmic dance over the abyss in a cold, isolated clockwork empire of your own making? Take a moment today to really listen to your own machinery before the final toll.